So today, guys, I'm gonna be reacting to Sun Yat-sen, A Killer in Hong Kong, Extra History #1. So let's go.
Hong Kong. Young Gu-wan, architect of the Guangzhou Uprising, sits teaching English on the second floor of his house. His 2-year-old son bounces on his lap. It feels good to be home. Exile didn't suit him. His revolutionary partner, currently living in hiding, had warned him that he was in danger, that a price was on their heads. But not here. Not in Hong Kong. The British would protect him. He keeps a revolver on his desk, though, just in case. There's a commotion on the stairs. Students look over their shoulders. The door bursts open. Gangsters enter, waving guns. Young throws his son on the floor. He lifts up a dictionary to shield himself and reaches for the revolver. His son screams. Pupils scramble out of the way. The gang leader fires. Young thumps face down on the desk. The assassins flee downstairs and disappear into the narrow alleys, excited to collect their bounty from Qing officials. Rebels die. That's the rule. And there was no greater rebel than young Gu-wan. Well, there was one. The man's partner, Sun Yat-sen. Honolulu, Hawaii, 1879. Sun Yat-sen would have many names in his life. All Chinese men did that. He'd have his genealogical name, his baptism name, his courtesy name, but he would also have others. Names with false passports to back them up. Names he'd use in hiding. Because Sun was a dangerous man. The Qing were right to fear him. After all, he'd bring 2,000 years of imperial rule crashing down.
Wow.
But in 1879, he was just Sun Wen, a student in Hawaii. One of 7 Chinese at his largely Hawaiian Anglican boarding school. He'd been born in southern China, the son of poor peasants, at a time when there was little opportunity for boys like him. His family were not scholars who could get him a government position. The stagnant economy promised no upward mobility. Instability ruled back home. The largest revolt in centuries, the Taiping Rebellion, had ended only 2 years before his birth. Ever since the British took Hong Kong in the Opium Wars, foreign countries were scrambling for larger and larger chunks of Chinese territory. Now, they were flooding the market with cheap manufactured goods, putting Chinese artisans out of work. Foreign steamships sailed up the rivers, bringing in goods and bringing out coal. Opium still ravaged the country. Imperial attempts at modernization inevitably failed due to mismanagement and corruption. Even when the government did adopt new technologies, like steamships, they had to finance them through foreign capital and hire foreign engineers. And yet the Qing government, a northern ethnic minority perceived as foreign occupiers, kept insisting on the supremacy of their culture and deciding there was no need for change. Many Chinese had gone overseas. In fact, Sun's own brother went to the Kingdom of Hawaii to work in the sugarcane fields, and Sun saved up for a shop and ranch.
Yeah, Hawaii was, I think, at the time, still independent, but it would get integrated into the USA a couple years later, I think. But they were independent now.
Sun and his mother followed him. The schools were better, that was sure. At least they were for lucky kids with brothers who made enough to pay the tuition. Here, unlike his village school, he got an education that opened the world.
Wow,
he picked up English
really
fast.
cool.
So fast that he was soon writing for the school newspaper and received
awards
from the American legal systems, constitutional government, democracy, and Western history, with an emphasis on the American Revolution, Glorious Revolution, and unification of Germany and Italy. When he graduated, he moved on to college-level courses at a missionary school. Here, the curriculum was more specifically American, imbued with a particular brand of New World optimism and dogma of self-betterment. But it also exposed him to Protestantism. And when he came home one day, asking permission to be baptized, his brother figured enough was enough. He sent Sun home. But those years in Hawaii had changed the 17-year-old Sun. He now saw his village as backwards and superstitious, and tried to fix that by tearing down one of the gods at the local temple. The act got in really trouble. And there was only one place for him to go. Hong Kong, 1883. Hong Kong was something...
Hong Kong at the time, I think, was controlled by Britain.
Did you send it? different from teen-year-old superstitious and tried 1883. Hong Kong was something totally different from Honolulu. This was a true city, a little Victorian England in the middle of Asia. Technology, banking, modern transportation, clean streets, and massive buildings. The contrast between his poor village and this metropolis laid bare to him how foolish the Qing had been, not the modern. He was only 50 miles from home. The next few years.
Sorry about that, guys. My brother is just being crazy.
Got married. His parents arranged it.
He was just being crazy. My brother. Sorry about the yelling.
Sun decided he wanted to help people, so he got a medical degree. But Hong Kong didn't recognize his degree. So he opened a pharmacy in Macau and later Guangzhou, earning a reputation for giving away free medicine. But medicine wasn't his only pursuit. He developed a group of friends in Hong Kong, middle-class professionals like him who loved to talk politics. Several had connections with anti-Qing societies, and they began...
I generally talk politics too, you know.
Talking openly about overthrowing the emperor and replacing him with a democracy. Theoretically at first, then in specifics. The group became so notorious for their radical talk, people nicknamed them the Four Desperados. And as they talked, the century of humiliation marched on. The Qing lost Korea to the Japanese, and Vietnam betrayed. Western railways law didn't.
Sorry about that, guys.
To offer his ideas directly to the government.
Wow.
In 1894, he
That's
traveled
been hard
to Beijing,
to get there.
both to see the capital and to file a petition with his recommendations for reforming agriculture, opening free trade, and leveraging China's human skills.
Yeah, they really
He
should.
tried to deliver the letter to a government official known as a champion of reform. The man refused to see it. This rejection incensed Sun, but it was more than that. The wealth he saw displayed in Beijing. Every thought of reform from his life. The ineffectual Qing must be overthrown. And he was sure.
Wow.
A secret revolutionary organization dedicated to overthrowing the Qing. I'm a doctor, says Sun, but before treating my patients, I must first cure my country. But to do that, you would need money. This overseas chapter will primarily be a fundraising organization. His brother had agreed to sell some of his property to help the fight. Could he count on these men? Turns out, he could. Some sold businesses. Others gave what they could or organized fundraising events. Sun's electric speeches began attracting crowds in Honolulu.
Just like that,
there were 5,000 Chinese in Hawaii, he said.
It's called
If
Hiller.
each person gave him $1, that would be $5,000 towards the revolution. A few would give more than that, volunteering to come back and fight when the time came. It came sooner than anyone thought. China had fared badly in the Sino-Japanese War, suffering a series of embarrassing naval defeats that had once again exposed the corruption and incompetence of the Qing. The time was right.
Yeah, they were really
3 months after founding the Revived China Society in Honolulu, Sun returned to Hong Kong to establish its global headquarters. But this Revived China Society, disguised as a social club, was more than a fundraising group. Renewing contacts from his college years, he met up with Young Kuan, founder of a literary society that was, like his social club, actually a revolutionary group. Unlike Sun, Young had deep contacts in Hong Kong, and with the anti-Qing secret societies that operated in southern China.
Wow.
He'd been cultivating them
really
for
powerful
revolt and acquiring weapons for 3 years. Some of these secret societies were the infamous triads, who in their centuries of anti-Qing resistance frequently turned to organized crime. Soon,
so they're basically like a mafia.
Turned a blind eye.
I'm not
The
saying
two
they are,
groups
I'm
merged,
just saying.
appointing Young chairman of the revived China Society,
Wow.
and taking a pledge to expel the Qing, restore Chinese rule, and establish a federal republic. They greenlit the...
Because I might get this wrong, but if you don't know, the Qing or the Qing, whatever, are actually the Jurchen tribes, and the Jurchens are the Manchus in Manchuria. So they are like, they're Chinese, but they aren't like accepted. That's what the Qing are. The Qing are part of the Jurchen tribe culture and minority and stuff in Manchuria. So yeah.
uprising. Sun's longtime friend, Liu Haotong, made them a flag to fight under. A white sun on a blue sky.
And that sun with the blue sky would eventually be a part of the Republic of Taiwan, which is technically the Republic of China. And that sun with the blue background would be a part of the Republic of China's flag that's now in Taiwan.
It was time to rise.
Sorry about my voice,
With
it's
the war
cracking.
ending, thousands of discharged soldiers were milling around Guangzhou,
Wow.
also known as Canton. Angry, defeated, and frequently unpaid, they were joining triad groups and revolutionary societies in steady numbers. If Sun and his comrades could start an uprising, they reasoned the people would join them. They recruited 3,000 triads. When activated,
Wow.
they'd assemble in Hong Kong and catch a ferry to Guangzhou. Then they'd
Yeah,
break
that
into
seemed like a
units
pretty
to hit
good
their
plan.
designated targets. Some would seize government offices or bottle up
Sorry
troops
about
and
the
police.
shaky camera,
Others
guys.
would capture or kill local officials. Soon quietly moved to Guangzhou, presenting himself as a head of an agricultural society to explain the strange coming and goings. He
Yeah,
set up a
that'll
religious
work.
bookshop as a front. There were spiritual pamphlets out front and an arms cache in the back. Contacts in Hong Kong shipped him loads of revolvers.
Leave your answers in the comments below. But what if, before this revolution could kick off, they found out about the armory? What do you think would have happened to everybody involved?
Hidden in barrels labeled
I already
cement.
know they would.
Triads surveilled government buildings and shadowed targets. And they chose a date, October 26th, a festival day where busy street celebrations could provide cover as the strike force got into position.
That'd be cool.
It was an auspicious date,
good.
the 9th day of the 9th lunar month. Yet it would all go so wrong.
Okay, that's all for this video, guys. I'm gonna post a reaction to the next episode in this. Mind you, this series was 1 year ago, but whatever. I'm just reacting to it now because now it's my new YouTube channel. Not new, but it's a YouTube channel. Go check out the guys at Extra Credit. Subscribe to their channel and like that video. But anyway, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Bye.